Okay, here we go. Cornelius Nepos, Titus Pomponius Atticus. He was from the origin ultima, a long way back origin generatus. It's means he was born um, from a long way going back Roman stirps or Roman stock. These are genitives. A perpetual line, it looks like, from his ancestors. He obtained or took this equestrian dignitary. That's a rank. I think you need to have like 500,000 sesterces or something to be in it continually. But it looks like they all held that. Usus est. Looks like he's experienced a father who was diligent, and them in those times he was ditto. He was rich, and imprimis. I think that goes together because we have a qui there, and especially he was. Here we go. It's still in the ablative from Usus. He was very studious of letters, or he liked reading. He, just as he himself loved letters, he taught his son, and there's a little clause in the middle. And all the things which ought to be imparted, someone in boyhood age ought to be imparted with in all doctrines. So his father loved letters, and he raised his son and taught him all the things he should know as a boy, basically, is what it's saying. 3. Erat autem. There was, moreover, in the boy, besides a docilitatem and easily teachabiliness of his ingenium, of his character, there was a summa suavitas. There was a very high sweetness of his mouth and voice. So I guess in his mouth in shaping the words, he spoke well. And not only quickly did he accept these teachings, but he could hand them on or declaim them, I guess publicly or whatever, to his fellow students. But even he could pronounce things excellently. So. Qua ex re, another version of therefore, in his puritia, in his boyhood, he was nobilis among his equals, amongst his equals. He was considered that he splendid. He shone rather clarius, rather brightly, more quam than his fellow students, his condisciples. Con meaning fellow, and disciples meaning the other students, who were generoso, meaning high-born or had noble or rich parents, more than they were able to bear with a calm mind or fair mind, animo equo. 4. Itaque incitabat. And so he incited all of them with his studium, with his zeal, in which number there were L. Torquatus, C. Marius the son, Marcus Cicero. He conquered them all with his consuetudine, I guess with his frequency he was with them, and out of habit he was with them, and because he won them with his presence and his love order. It ut thus so much that no one was dearer perpetually or all throughout this time to them. 2. His pater deceased maturely, so his father died early. Himself as an adolescent, on account of his affinitatem to P. Sulpius, this is a marriage relation, who was interfectus. He was killed as a tribune of the plebs. He was not without some sort of danger of his own self. So this guy was killed, and he had some relation to him, so he was in the danger. For Annica, the cousin of Atticus Pompeius, had married Servio, the dative brother of Sulpicius. So there's a relation. 2. And so, with Sulpicius dead, after he saw the city to be perturbed or in a disturbance by the tumult Cinatius, that's the Cincinnatus revolt or whatever they call it, and neither did he, given the faculty, the means or an opportunity of living according to his dignity or according to his worth. What have we got? Without offending either of the two parties, the sides on this war or fight, or Tortram's pronoun or whatever the hell it is. Blah, 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 what have we got? So the animus, this is like the souls and minds, were disassociated. They were on different sides of the citizens. So I guess the two sides, there were different opinions. So ally and ally are the correlatives. So some were with Sulla and some favoured Cincinnatus. These were the parts. This was a idoneus tempus, a suitable time, ratus. It's from Rior. So we thought this was a suitable time for obsequing his studies, or following up his studies. So he contuleranted himself to Athens. He took himself to Athens. Okay, nequi eo setius. Looks like some adverbs. Setius can come from, there's a preposition form meaning close to it. It usually means slower or longer or something. Often has that negative thing, so it just usually means nevertheless, or anyway, we'll take it as. He euvided the adolescent Marius, who had been judged an enemy of maybe Athens, if that's where he's at. And so he helped him with his resources. He sublevated his flight. He aided the flight of this guy with pecunia, with money. Okay, Daily Dictionary, setius. Adverb, sometimes less or worse. Nihilo setius, nonetheless. There's a couple of examples there. Comparative is found in 4 forms. Sequius with 2 negatives, quo, eo, and nihilo, as we saw here in eo. There's examples from Plautus, etc. Where were we? Acne, unless by this peregrination, or living in a foreign land, would bear him some detriment of his re familiar, his circumstances and his money. Eodam, what have we got? To the same place of Athens, I guess. He trajected or crossed over a magnum part, a great part of his fortune, of his money. He must have transferred to this place where he was now living. Hic ita vixit. So here he lived, it ut, so much that merito, deservedly, he was very dear to the Athenians universally. For besides his gratia, which is thanks or influence, which Yam already was magna, was great in his adolescence, often with his opibuses, his resources, as we saw, he would levivit or lighten the inopia publica. The must be the city's lack of needs. Eorum would be of the Athenians. Enim, 4, cum when aversurem, literally a turning. That's when you take money to pay for another thing. So, I don't know, you might borrow from your MasterCard to pay for something. So when it had been necessary to make a public payment or something, looks like a loan, and neither was there a fair condition, an aequam condition, they didn't have fair conditions, always he would interpose himself. And thus, it ought, neither would ever there be usury, which is interest payments, would be accepted by them. That would be longer than what was dictated in the conditions or terms. He wouldn't allow this to happen. Passus sit debere. 5. Quod utrumque, which means of the two. So what was salutary for them in both these cases was that neither did the aesalium, this is the debt, did he allow the debt of them to inveterasque, to grow older by indulgence, nor did he allow the debt to crescere, to grow by multiplications of the interest. So I guess the more interest you have, the more you pay, and so he didn't let the debts grow old or multiply. He increased this officium, this duty or obligation or benefits, also with alia liberality, with a very generous or liberal act. For he donated universally to all the people with frumento, which is grain or corn. It ought thus so that singularly each person was given 6 modicae triticai, 6 modes of wheat or bushels of wheat, which modus of measurement is called by the Athenians medimnos. Okay.